So when should it be used? Well, we like to do the pre-test nice and early. So in term 1, week 3 would be the preferred option for year 2s, and the post-test occurs in term 3. As far as who should administer the test, well, the classroom teacher is the perfect person. However, we advise that there is a second person in the room. Having 28 students using a device such as a laptop, being able to log in and answer 25 questions is a challenge, particularly at the start of year 2. So if there could be an assistant of some form, maybe the curriculum developer, learning enrichment teacher, at least one other assistant would be beneficial to the testing process. So how does it begin? Well, a link will be sent to you via email. So you'll get an email from myself. It'll be ksargent@. And this link, this URL, links to a Google form. There's a separate one for numeracy and literacy. So there's 2 separate forms. Now, the next part of the process is very important. It's important that on the day of the testing, the classroom teacher does a bulk email to the group of students in their class and they share that URL. It's important that this does not occur early, as a child could log on to their email at home and they could answer the questions in the form and submit from home, in which case it would render their test irrelevant. So it's important that the sharing of that URL occurs on the day of the testing. The students log in as themselves. So they get a device, they log in as themselves, open up their email and click on that link. It's the same link for every child. They complete the Google form and press submit. Each form can only be submitted once per student. Their email address is automatically collected once the form is submitted. So what will you need to administer the test? Well, it's useful to have a device for yourself as the classroom teacher. It's advised that you project what you see on your device up onto a larger screen format. So it might be a digital projector or it might be a large LED panel on the wall, but you can project up what you're seeing on your laptop so the entire class can see and be led by what you're doing. Each child will then need some form of device to log into. iPads, whilst they do work, we have found an issue with scrolling and it changing the choice of bubble. So whilst the child's not asked to do any typing at all, they are being asked to select a bubble, and it's much easier on a laptop. So each child will need a laptop, and you yourself as a classroom teacher will need a laptop. There is no printed materials for this test paper at all. How to administer? Well, this bit's really important. For the test to be a valid source of data, it's really, really important that we are consistent in the implementation of the test. The test is not a test of reading, and that's really important. We're not testing reading. So that we ask that teachers read the questions that are in bold as they appear, and then there may be parts that are in Beginners Queensland font. So these 2 elements can be read. We ask that you do not provide any interpretation or clarification of the questions. Please read them verbatim, and you may repeat it. So you may read the question more than once, but do not read the options at the bubble. That we ask that the children choose this down here, the bottom part, on their own, and this part does not get read by the classroom teacher. In bold and in Queensland font is to be read only. The time allocation is dependent on the efficiency of the technology being used. And with year 2s early on in the year, it may be challenging to get all 25 students to log on successfully and submit the form. We have had schools who have been implementing this test for 3 years now, And they do successfully get their students to submit this online. It can be done. It's just that initially when the children are young, it can be a little bit challenging. There are 2 separate test papers of 25 questions each. One is for numeracy and one is for literacy. You can do both on the one day, or you can separate them if you like. They are submitted as separate forms. They have separate URLs.